Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Narc Free Formula. My name is Freedom Vivian. Thank you for joining me. I'm just going to do a quick video today about cognitive dissonance. Big phrase or big term. What it really means is it's a state that the mind goes into when it's trying to hold two opposing beliefs. So, for example, to put that into context, so for example, if you have a narcissist who, when you first met him, he told everyone that he was a feminist and that he believes in women's rights and he respects women, and that's what you were trained to believe. The very first time that he is physically violent and hits you, your brain is quite literally going to go into this awful state of cognitive dissonance where it is confused between these two opposing trains of thought. Often cognitive dissonance is used by the narcissist to, effectively it can paralyze a victim. It can cause that much confusion that the victim will end up thinking, I can't trust myself. I don't know what is real anymore. I don't trust reality because it seems to be changing all the time. So I will just cling to what I know and I will cling to my abuser. And he will say, I will protect you. I'll keep you safe. I won't let anyone hurt you. But he's the one that's hurting you. Once again, creates cognitive dissonance in the brain. It's confusing. And the thing is, you can't voice your confusion to a narcissist because then the gaslighting starts. So if you were to say, well, you choked me the other day, so you're violent, he might then turn around and say, well, I wouldn't have choked you if you hadn't have blah, 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 blah. So puts the blame on you. Or, if at the very best they admit some kind of culpability, they will also then say, it's because I watched my dad treat my mum like that. So they justify their behaviour. So they either blame you, justify their behaviour, or minimize it in some way. Oh, I don't exaggerate. I can choke you. I just have my hand around your throat. So they minimize it as well. All of these things create confusion in the mind where you're thinking, maybe I am exaggerating. Maybe he's not as bad as his dad. Maybe, his dad was a lot worse. So maybe, I'm kind of lucky because it could have been a lot worse for me. Maybe he is actually getting better. And maybe I did push him. I probably shouldn't have pushed him. And that is how they use cognitive dissonance to maintain the upper hand, to keep you in a position of powerlessness. Because when you're powerless and confused, you are easy to manipulate. And when you are when the goalposts are shifted, when the very ground that you are standing on keeps shifting and turning into something else, there's no stability. How can you how can you get clarity? How can you get clear on what you think and what you believe when it's always changing? And then when you add the violence, the push, the pull, the him leaving, you leaving, the running, hiding, all the things that happen when you're dealing with domestic violence and abusive men, it's almost impossible to figure this stuff out, which is why we need to get space away from them. Because as soon as you actually do have some time and space to get your head together, to think your own thoughts, you can start working through this cognitive dissonance. And if what he says and what he does are two different things, then you need to focus on what he is doing. Okay, because you've got to remember this. Liars lie. Okay, that's what they do. That's by definition what makes them liars. So narcissists are pathological liars. They lie for no reason whatsoever. They lie just because they can. They will lie about the most mundane, insignificant things just because they love the confusion that it brings. They love you not having all the information. They love feeling powerful. They love getting one over you. So, you know, it's no wonder the brain goes through this awful, awful state. And when you have been brainwashed and programmed, because that's essentially what they do in a relationship, they brainwash you, just like, you know, the military use, you know, for breaking in soldiers. You know, there's a certain breaking down to build them up. They do, you know, abusers do that. They actually destroy self-worth, not to build you back up, but to build you back up to the point where you are totally indoctrinated with their beliefs, their position, and to believe that they have more value and more worth than you do. And that's a lot, you know, that's a lot for anyone to have to deal with, let alone, you know, be in a relationship with someone that's doing that, consciously doing that to you, trying to destroy your self-worth and self-esteem, trying to keep you under the thumb and under control. You know, this is why a lot of people, when they do escape, end up finding out they have, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder, or, you know, other forms of, you know, anxiety or mental health issues, because it's just too much. It's like living in a war zone where your captor is the person that you are supposed to love, you know, and sometimes he feeds you that, you know, that loving partner routine, just enough for you to reflect it back to him. As soon as you're going, oh, you know, you're my man, you're my husband, I love you so much, we're a team, we're, you know, meant to be together. As soon as you're kind of saying that back to him, he knows that he has rebuilt the construct, that you believe it again, and then he can go back to devaluing. So the other position I wanted to mention on cognitive dissonance is this, is when you've left. This is when what will happen is you go through kind of like all relationships when they break down, you know, you go through kind of grieving process. But with narcissist breakups, first of all, they're never ever easy. There's always some kind of theatrics, some kind of drama, often a lot of trauma involved. And what happens to the victims is that they then have to deal with the ramifications of that. And so they start to try and process it all. And they'll go through stages of feeling angry, then grieving the loss of what they thought they had. But that's when the cognitive dissonance kicks in again. And they start to try and justify and say, well, maybe he's not really as bad as I imagine. He's probably not really a narcissist. He's probably just an asshole. You know, or they might hear stories of other women survivors who are saying, you know, my husband did this, that, whatever, and it seems so much worse. And they think, well, mine wasn't really that bad. I mean, he never put a gun to my throat, a knife to my throat, or a gun to my head, you know. But the thing is, this is, once again, just cognitive dissonance. You know, it's just the brain trying to rationalize and figure it all out. It's not a reason to go running back to an abuser. Once you're out, stay out, because if you do go back, you know, the honeymoon is over, baby. It's never going to go back to being the way it was in the beginning. Never. Okay, once you've left once, you've created a narc injury, and they will punish you for that, and they will punish you mercilessly. I mean, quite literally, if you've left and gone back, you are on borrowed time. They will be seeking to replace you, actively seeking right now. You won't know about it, you know, but they are looking, they are trying on other people as we speak. They are trying on other people for size to see if they can replace you. They can and they will. It's not a matter of not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Okay, and you will be punished, and you know, they will make sure that you suffer for the fact that you've left them, for the fact that you thought you could even dare live on your own without them, or that you could make a fool of them, or you could escape them, or even just that you caused a narc injury, because when you ran away from them, you said, your actions said, I don't believe the mask. I don't believe in what you're saying to me. And that, to a narcissist, is damaging. So you need to be aware that the punishment is coming. You can't avoid it. Okay? Once you've left, you need to stay out, because you're only going to put yourself in danger and in harm's way by going back to the narcissist. You'll never get it back to the way it was in the beginning, because that was just an act. Okay? It was just an act. He's not that person anyhow. You're not losing anything. He'll put on an act with the next one. He'll do it in front of you. He'll try and make you feel like you've done something wrong or you've lost something. But you've got to know in your heart of hearts that you didn't lose anything. It's just an act that he's putting on with her, just like he put on with you, the one before you and the one after her. Okay? All right, darlings. Thank you for watching Narc Free Formula. My name is Freedom. Please subscribe to the videos, and you can also find us on Facebook. Thanks. Bye.